400 horsepower Detroit Diesel Series 60 for tractors. All these engines fulfill the EPA 91 specifications, which are the American standards that have been adopted by the Mexican government for protection of the environment. Dina Camiones continues renewing the installations of its plant in order to update its manufacturing processes and assembly techniques. This intense search to achieve levels of excellence brought about the need for an experimental workshop. And so, one was created. To guarantee, once again, the competitive quality that is required and the volumes of production that the market demands, the adequate and timely supply of materials to the production lines is well controlled, including their programming, reception, and inspection. After this brief look at the new Dina image, we invite you to take a tour of the assembly lines. Today's production process in the assembly of trucks is carried out on two mixed production lines, one for the QSP units, line 1, and another for the 9400 Tracto and the chassis for construction of passenger buses, line 2. These two lines have 5 feeder shops. Chassis, axles, engine transmission assembly, painting and upholstering of cabins, and the dressing of hoods and sleeping cabins. The construction of a Dina truck begins in the frame assembly shop. Cross members are put on the side rails, using a special device to square them to the required tolerances in order to guarantee good performance and maximum security. On line number 1, which has 10 workstations and a cabin for black paint, the chassis for QSP 90 units are assembled, and the chassis for the D9400 and the chassis for the construction of passenger buses are assembled on line number 2, which has the same characteristics. In both cases, the assembly process basically consists of the placing of air tanks, valves, and hoses of the pneumatic brake system, supports for the engine and cabin, propeller shafts, the spring brackets, and the springs themselves. Also the axles, whose assembly corresponds to another process. Both the rims and tires are put on here. In 3 different working areas, the front, rear, and tandem axles are assembled. To assemble the brakes, hubs, drums, air chambers, and valves of the front axles, 6 stations are used, and another 6 are employed to assemble rear axles of all